Hey!
Hey, what's up? We are back after a year?
Yeah. It's March.
It's March, right?
Yeah.
So last year, we were talking to our community. We were talking to you directly. By the way, before we even get there.
Yeah, what have you been up to these last
Before
last
we even
6
do that,
months?
I think we should totally introduce ourselves.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah, so who are you?
My name is Susana Lizarras. I am the Chief Community Officer of the Latinx Education Collaborative and your resident educator.
I like that, resident educator.
Thanks.
I'm going to add that to the title.
Thank you.
And then, hi everyone, I'm Edgar Palacios. I'm the founder of the Latinx Education Collaborative. And you may know our organization. If you don't, our mission is to increase the representation of Latinx education professionals in K-12. We are going into our third year of operation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's insane.
Wow.
I mean, anyways, enough of all that. We're going to cut that part out too.
Enough of that.
But what have you been up to this year, Susana?
You know, just a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Maybe a baby or
You had a baby?
Yeah, I think I had a baby. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, that seems like a lot of work.
It is actually a lot of work. So.
Yeah. Well, good. Cool.
You had a whole baby.
Yeah, believe it or not, like we were sitting here last year talking about the pandemic and the beginning of the pandemic.
Yeah.
Neither
one of us knew we were.
We didn't know that we were going to have a baby. And so now I have a 4-month-old Isabel.
And I have a 4-month-old Carlos Amado.
Our families were pregnant at the same time.
Yeah, literally.
Which is wild.
Yeah.
And we did not know that was going to be the case for the LEC. For us. For anybody.
No idea. And luckily we are still here.
We definitely are here.
Because that was a concern.
It was absolutely a concern. The last time that we actually spoke to our community, I think we were trying to figure out, what we were going to do with COVID coming up. And I think we made 5 commitments that day. And so part of it, we definitely did our LEC virtual care packages, which were a huge hit. I think we served a little bit over 200 teachers with that. We definitely did our one-on-one check-ins with our community, making sure that our educators were feeling lifted up and loved on, right?
Yeah.
I think that we absolutely did that. We leaned in heavily into the social media space, into the virtual space.
Really
in fact, we actually did our conference, Evolucion, virtually, and we were terrified about that, but we had over 300 people in attendance and over 500 registrants, which was insane. Insanely good, and I think we had a phenomenal time. What else did we do?
Yeah, another thing we did was we converted our pathway to online version so that anybody could access it at any time. It was originally something we did in person in schools, but because we weren't going to get that opportunity, we put it on our website, and parents and kids could kind of access it whenever they wanted.
I think this year we wanted to come back and talk a little bit more about what we were planning to do for the next year.
Yeah.
And so we have some exciting stuff happening. So it's been a huge year of growth for the LEC as an organization. And we have a couple of big initiatives that we're going to be launching over the next couple of weeks. And so we wanted to make sure to share that with you so we can, 1, count on your support, and 2, also make sure that you knew that we're alive and well. We survived the pandemic. Hopefully, we'll be able to gather together soon again in person.
Yes.
But in the meantime, as we try to figure that out, we're here and we're thriving. So
I think we had so much success in the virtual space. We were able to get access to our community literally at the click of a button, and our community access to us. And so we're going to continue a lot of that going into the spring. We have Acción coming up. Acción is called the Next Steps to Evolucion. What was some of the feedback we got from Evolucion that we kind of used to come up with Acción?
You might hear a baby in the background, by the way. That is the kind of life that we live these days.
Yes.
So the next steps to Evolucion was Acción. So the idea that we wanted to make sure that our community had tools to advocate for themselves, to advocate for their students, and to advocate for the community at large. And so Acción is really about being in community and learning from each other on how to take action in these spaces and these environments.
Yeah. Something else we have coming up is our much anticipated book club.
Is that coming back?
Yeah, it's
book
coming
club
back.
was a hit last year.
I know. People really loved it, and I loved it, and we learned a lot. But this year it will be a summer book club, so be on the lookout for that.
One thing that I'm excited about, we
Yeah.
haven't announced this publicly yet, but we actually are partnering with Google Fiber to offer
Yeah.
strength-based and identity-based coaching for our community of educators. So Google Fiber is sponsoring that programming. You and I are beneficiaries of the
Yes.
Clifton Strengths Assessment,
Yep.
and so we'll be offering that coaching for our community of educators. So we're excited to get that out.
Yeah. YouTube.
YouTube.
Yes.
What's going on with YouTube?
We are really establishing our presence on YouTube. If you haven't seen yet, we have all of our broadcasts there. Like Edgar said, we really took off on social media. So all of the Ask an Educators and the PLCs with Dr. Erica Hernandez Scott, all of that stuff is accessible through YouTube, and it will continue to be this spring.
Yeah, I'm excited to see actually what develops. You're on season 2 of PLC. What's that?
Yeah.
Professional Learning and Achievement?
Yes.
What do you guys talk about?
You know, we do the majority of the time it is professional learning.
Okay, but a little bit of achievement?
But a little bit of achievement.
Just
You know,
a little bit?
we have a lot of fun. Yes. It's like having a talk show.
Something that's been really exciting for us, I
Yeah.
think, Susanna, is that we actually just recently released a report
Yeah, we
talking
did.
about teacher diversity here locally in the Kansas City metro area.
Mm-hmm.
And so we partnered with the Urban Education Research Center at University of Missouri, Kansas City, and we just released our 2021 Landscape Analysis Report, Teachers of Color in Kansas City. And so what we found in that report was that only 1% of educators in the Kansas City metro area are Latinx.
Yeah.
And so that's concerning. I think that actually translates to 261 Latinx teachers.
Mm-hmm.
And we have roughly 51,000 plus Latinx students. And so we have a little bit of work to do when it comes to increasing our representation in our community.
Yeah. A big part of increasing is the retention part, though, right?
Yeah.
And that's part of our strategies and part of our mission. And so we'll continue to be grassroots. We'll continue to be boots on the ground. Our community knows, and it's something that Edgar and I like to remind everyone, that we are accessible whenever you need us, educators in particular. We are following our community's needs. You know, when we hear that there's something our teacher community needs, we're right there with it. So
No, I absolutely agree. I think that's one of the things that we pride ourselves at the LEC, that we are accessible and remain accessible to our community of educators, because we know, we actually hear it almost every day, that feeling of isolation that our teachers face
Yep.
in their classrooms, in their buildings. And so we want to make sure that our community of Latinx educators know that we're here for them and are supportive of their efforts.
yeah. Are we talking Rev Ed
Oh,
at all?
can we talk a little bit about Rev Ed?
Yeah.
So we actually also, just within a couple of days ago
Yeah.
of shooting this video, we actually launched an affiliated 501c4 organization called Revolución Educativa. And so Rev Ed's going to actually allow us to talk a little bit more about the policies and lean into a little bit more of advocacy work. Now, granted, it's its own separate organization.
Yes.
We are affiliated, though.
Yes.
But really, Rev Ed is about empowering our Latinx community and really building power, collective power within the community.
Yeah.
As well as making sure that our Latino students, our Latinx students, can grow up in a world, become leaders without facing systemic inequities. And so
Yeah.
that's the vision that we're trying to build for.
Yeah, and I think we'll use the data and the information we gather from the LEC and from Latinx Education Collaborative to inform part of our work over at Rev Ed.
Absolutely. And I think based on that, we're also going to be releasing a couple more reports this year. The next one that's coming out is around teacher pathway programs.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going to be looking at the diversity of the teacher pathway programs that are available on the state of Missouri and in Kansas.
Nice.
One more big announcement. I don't think we've been able to talk about this yet, but I guess today we're just kind of revealing everything. We actually just got commitment from our first district partner.
Really?
Yeah.
Yay, of course we did.
So I'm excited to announce that our first district partner is
Yay.
Brookside Charter
Yes.
School.
Yeah.
And so they are our first organization that signed up as part of our Socios program. And so we'll be partnering with them on delivering some some work helping them with their culture,
Nice.
as well as making sure that they are well prepared to receive and to sustain Latinx educators.
Yeah, I like that you said sustain. I know DEI work, kind of blew up this year and the last couple of years, and we appreciate those organizations that are really taking the lead on being proactive with that.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we have clearly a lot of exciting things happening in 2021. Do you want to do the virtual care packages again or no? Was that helpful?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, teachers need money.
Yeah.
And a lot of them use them on their classrooms.
They really did. We actually,
That's
I'm not going to
cool.
be a data nerd here, but I think over 60% of the educators that we gave those mini grants to actually use them directly for their classroom
Yeah.
or their students.
I'm not surprised.
So with all this work that's happening, you're also going to be seeing some new faces at the LEC. We can't wait to introduce them to you.
So 2020 taught us that educators are some of the hardest working professionals in the world. Educators are innovators, figuring it out regardless of what the hurdle became. Teachers made online learning happen. Teachers made online assessments happen. Teachers made online fun happen. And so we want to continue to be there to support you.
Absolutely. And so clearly we have a lot of great things in store for the LEC in 2021 leading into 2022. And so we invite you to check out our website, www.latinxedco.org. We'll be updating that. Actually, we even did a refresh on the website. So it's looking 2021-ish.
It is.
So I'm excited about that. So again, we invite you to join us there to keep up on all of our latest happenings, events, and content as well.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for your support in 2020, and looking forward to continue serving you as the year goes along.